Floriography and flowers in the Victorian era. You're watching Cultured Elegance. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Floriography is the art of conveying messages through flowers, where each bloom and its color carry symbolic meanings. This form of silent communication has roots spanning thousands of years, but it reached its height of popularity in the Victorian era. Through carefully chosen flower combinations, people could send nuanced messages without uttering a single word. The tradition of using flowers to communicate meaning began long before it became a widespread practice in Europe. Across cultures in Europe, Asia, and Africa, flowers were imbued with symbolic significance for millennia. However, it was the Ottoman Empire that floriography truly began to evolve into a form of coded communication. In the 1600s, the Ottoman court in Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, developed a tradition known as salam. This practice began as a game within the harem, where flowers, fruits, and even pebbles were assigned meanings through rhymes and verses. It provided a way to communicate messages without needing to write or speak, especially in a time when literacy rates were low. The concept of salam spread to Europe in the early 1700s, particularly after Lady Mary Wortley Montagu, an English aristocrat, married the British ambassador to Turkey and moved to Constantinople. In her letters, she described this unique custom. There is no color, no flower, no weed, no fruit, herb, pebble, or feather that is not a verse belonging to it, and you may quarrel, reproach, or send letters of passion, friendship, or civility, or even of news, without ever inking your fingers. The field of botany further fueled the interest in floriography, and it became especially popular among women, particularly in the upper classes, who were often restricted by the social norms of their time from openly expressing their emotions. By the early 19th century, the language of flowers became an integral part of European culture, especially in Victorian England, in a society that emphasized restraint and propriety, particularly in matters of love and emotion. Flowers offered a discreet way for individuals to communicate their feelings. The practice reached its zenith in the Victorian era. In 1819, French author Madame Charlotte de la Tour published La Language des Fleurs, the first dictionary dedicated to floriography. It contained hundreds of flower meanings, and soon, similar books and guides began to emerge across Europe. In England, the language of flowers grew especially popular among the aristocracy and middle class. A key form of this floral communication was the nosegay, a small handheld bouquet that could carry a complex, often coded message. Young lovers, unable to speak openly about their affections, used these flower arrangements to express their feelings. But floriography wasn't limited to romantic love. Flowers also conveyed messages of friendship, mourning, regret, and even rejection. For example, in Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, flowers played a pivotal role in conveying hope and renewal. As the protagonist Jane prepares to leave the oppressive Lowood school, she notices crocus, symbolizing youth and joy, and snowdrops, which represent hope, blooming in the cold landscape. In the Age of Innocence, flowers serve as a powerful symbol, particularly through the characters of May Welland and Ellen Olenska. May is closely associated with lilies of the valley, flowers that signify purity and innocence. Archer, throughout their engagement, sends her daily bouquets of these delicate blooms. The flower's scientific name, Mayalis, meaning of May or belonging to May, is an added layer of thoughtfulness. However, the fact that lilies of the valley are also highly poisonous subtly suggests that May's idealized innocence, while admired by society, can ultimately carry hidden dangers or consequences. In contrast, yellow roses, which Archer chooses to send to Ellen, symbolize boldness and beauty. Though he briefly considers sending them to May, he ultimately feels the roses are too vibrant and intense for her, believing they are better suited to Ellen's more complex, passionate, and unbound nature. The yellow roses highlight her emotional depth and independence, in stark contrast to May's untroubled purity. The floral symbolism extends further, with orchids sent to Ellen by Mr. Beaufort, while cousin Henry van der Loden sends carnations. Through these flowers, Warton subtly reflects the social dynamics and emotional undercurrents of the characters. The poet Emily Dickinson often wove flowers into her verses, using them to express a range of emotions: geraniums for friendship, jasmine for passion, roses, love, and daisies for innocence and cheer. In visual art, flowers were a frequent motif. John Singer Sargent's famous painting, Carnation, Lily, Lily, Rose, captures the vibrancy and beauty of nature, while Dante Gabriel Rossetti's works, such as Sancta Lilies and Mona Pomona, often featured flowers, imbued with deep symbolism related to femininity and love. Flower combinations allowed senders to craft intricate messages. Each color and flower had a distinctive meaning, and mixing flowers could communicate complex emotions. When it came to carnations, a red one would symbolize romantic love, while a pink carnation conveyed motherly love. White carnations expressed good luck and prosperity, while yellow were a sign of rejection and disappointment. Roses were synonymous with love and passion, but a yellow rose could signal jealousy, infidelity, or friendship. A white rose was a symbol of purity, while a pink rose often represented admiration or gratitude. Violets stood for modesty and faithfulness, making them a popular choice for expressing enduring love and loyalty. The Victorians didn't just rely on the flowers themselves to send a message. They also used subtle gestures to further convey meaning. For example, the way flowers were presented or held could indicate a deeper sentiment. If a woman received a bouquet and held it in her right hand, it was a signal of acceptance or a yes answer. If she held it in her left hand, it meant no, and holding a bouquet upside down indicated rejection. Where a flower arrangement was worn also conveyed meaning. A nosegay worn in the center of a woman's bodice signified that she was interested in only friendship. If the bouquet was held close to her heart, that her feelings were reciprocated. By the mid-19th century, flower shops, often referred to as florists, were becoming more established in urban areas, particularly in major cities like London. These flower shops catered to the growing demand for flowers for all occasions. Florists could be found along busy streets and in fashionable districts, and they became popular places for both purchasing bouquets and arranging floral gifts. Some florists specialized in rare or exotic blooms, while others offered a more general selection of common flowers. The Victorians were known for their appreciation for aesthetics and symbolism, so florists took great care in crafting arrangements that conveyed specific meanings. Flower shops would often create bespoke bouquets for customers, tailored to their particular needs for the messages they wanted to send. Florists in the Victorian era were skilled in the art of arrangement and would frequently create elaborate, highly detailed floral designs, often using flowers that were carefully chosen for their symbolic significance. While flower shops were becoming more common, Victorians could also purchase flowers from various other sources, particularly in rural areas or for those who lived far away from urban centers. Many Victorians even grew their own flowers in home gardens or in conservatories, especially in middle-class and upper-class households. These gardens were often filled with seasonal blooms that served both decorative and symbolic purposes. For those with less space or expertise, there were nurseries that specialized in selling plants and flowers. Nurseries were an important area for acquiring rare or exotic varieties of flowers, such as orchids or camellias, which could be difficult to find elsewhere. In addition to florists, many Victorians could purchase flowers at a local marketplace or from a street vendor. These vendors often sold fresh-cut flowers in bundles, and the quality of the flowers varied depending on the time of year and the region. Marketplaces offered a wide range of seasonal blooms, including roses, daisies, violets, and carnations, as well as more exotic varieties like lilies or peonies. The Victorians were passionate about horticulture and gardening, and flower shows and exhibitions were a popular pastime. Events like the Royal Horticulture Society's Flower Show in London showcased rare and cultivated flowers. Such events provided an opportunity for flower enthusiasts to acquire unique plants and blooms, often displaying the latest varieties that had been developed through horticultural advancements. Public botanical gardens, like the Royal Botanical Gardens at Kew, were popular places where people could see a wide variety of flowers. Some individuals, especially the wealthier classes, may have arranged for special collections of flowers or plants from these institutions for use in their own homes or to send as gifts. The concept of flower delivery was not as organized as it is today, but it did exist, especially for the wealthier classes. Upper-class Victorians often relied on florists or delivery services to send bouquets, whether for romantic gestures, social visits, or ceremonial occasions like weddings. Deliveries could be arranged through flower shops, which would carefully pack and send floral arrangements to the recipient's home or place of business. In some cases, flower deliveries were sent anonymously, especially when they were intended as romantic gifts. The recipient would often only know who the sender was once the flowers arrived with a card or note attached. Delivery services were usually limited to urban areas, as transportation infrastructure, like railways, were not yet widespread enough to facilitate regular deliveries to more remote areas. Florists typically provided small cards with bouquets that explained the meaning of the flowers. In addition to the flowers themselves, these cards allowed the sender to elaborate on their message. For example, a bouquet of red roses and white lilies might not only convey love and purity, but also could include a written note expressing romantic intention. Floriography, the language of flowers, became a key form of communication during the Victorian era, allowing people to express emotions subtly. Originating from the Ottoman Empire and spreading to Europe, flowers symbolized everything from love to sorrow. Florists crafted bespoke bouquets, and flower delivery services emerged for the wealthy. Featured in literature and art, flowers added symbolic depth to works like Jane Eyre and The Age of Innocence. This silent language allowed Victorians to convey complex emotions in a society that prized restraint. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please let me know what flowers you love the most and why. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And check out our weekly newsletter to be a part of the exclusive community, as well as our Patreon. Thank you everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.